Good morning everyone, and most welcome to this product update webinar by Technia. The topic today is to look at the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, release 2015x. And please ask questions during the presentation. I'll try to take some time in the end to answer or hook up with us afterwards so we can continue the discussion offline. This webinar is also recorded, so you will have access to this after registering on our homepage, so you can watch it later on if you like. The topics that I plan to cover today, my name is R2015x, by the way. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Technia. First, a little overview of the entire 3DEXPERIENCE concept. Now, this is really the new generation of product development support tools and environments from Dassault Systems. So let's just take a look at the concepts around this. What is really the 3DEXPERIENCE platform about? Then we'll look more into what has happened in release 2015x. We will look at the platform itself. I mean, this is now a common platform for creating the digital content, but also collaborating around this content using the, for example, the Enovia functionality, and then managing the content created in CATIA or Delmia. You do that in the same platform nowadays. So we look at the new things in the platform, and we'll look at some key takeaways from Enovia. Then Technia will have also separate webinars for highlighting the news in the various authoring applications like CATIA. So stay tuned and look at our homepage, and please attend those seminars as well. This webinar is scheduled to be around 45 minutes, which is not too much time, but we are of course more than happy to set up a special session for our existing customers or other interesting parties to dig deeper into what has happened that has more relevance for you perhaps. The third topic is about the structure and licensing. Some things have changed, some things are new in 15x, so we'll scratch on the surface and look a little bit on that. And then I'll plan to spend about 25 minutes in a demonstration, surfing around in the application, and also there introduce one of the really new things in 15x. That's the dashboarding capability, the 3D dashboards that are now available for local installation on premises. As I said before, please shoot questions. I'll answer them as we go along. So to start with, what is this experience thing that we're talking about so much nowadays? One of the most commonly used examples to explain the experience concept is the coffee case here. If you buy coffee by the bean, you cannot charge too much for that. It's very easy for the customer to understand the actual value. So it's treated as a commodity. It is a low price commodity. If you make the effort to package the coffee and to explain a little bit the background, put it in a nicely colored bag, you're able to charge more. Then you have refined the commodity into something else. If you serve the coffee in a special environment, if you make people feel that they are part of something, that they get their coffee with their name, it's a personalized thing to get the exact coffee they would like in an environment that feels fresh and cool, then you can also start to charge premium for this, and you differentiate yourself. So then you present the full experience of the coffee, really. Experiences are, of course, not limited to the coffee business. Looking at some other industries, there are experience. For instance, if we look at one example from the aerospace and defense industry, why not provide a traveling experience? Make it possible for your customers, if you're in the aerospace industry, to experience their airplanes long before the first actual physical prototype is available. Make it possible for them to design their aircrafts and to really get a feeling for the experience their customers will have of these aircrafts once they are ready and shuttling passengers down to nice and sunny places. So looking at the CPG, retail, provide a shopping experience, really defining in detail what the values are that you will give your customers by simulating shopper behavior, by visualizing how the goods will look and feel when put on the shelves, and optimize also the content on the shelves so that you can achieve maximal exposure. Really design your experience. And the Dassault System way of looking at this is to, per industry, tell the story, show the value, and that value is really packaged here in something called an industry solution experience. So per industry there can be several industry solution experiences. They target a specific or a few specific business issues, and they tell the story and show how the 3DEXPERIENCE platform can be used to solve that business problem, and then to help you as customers to bring your experiences out to your customers in return. There are lots of different industry solution experiences. Please read more on the Dassault Systems homepages about this. There is lots of material there. We are also here to present the concepts of the industry solution experiences to you. This is really the PLM story and value put into an industrial context with values and business issues that really make sense on a daily basis for a specific industry. The key values offered by the Dassault Systems 3DEXPERIENCE portfolio here that are very relevant. These are really the fundamentals for all of these industry solution experiences. There's a unified user experience. No matter what tool or activity you're doing, if you're working in the 3D environment, creating digital content, or if you're working with collaborative tools, perhaps you're a program manager, you're working in the same kind of user interface, so it's a simple and smooth transition to move from one domain to another. The 3D creation world now looks and behaves the same as the collaborative world or the virtual manufacturing world, for instance. Vital data is no longer hidden in boring tables. Lots of powerful dashboarding capabilities. General dashboards from Dassault Systems, but also more tailored and specific dashboards available from Technia for visualizing the important data that you have in your system. Make it understandable. I'm coming back to that when we look at the 3D dashboards capabilities introduced in 15X. Many disciplines are working, as I said before here, in the same kind of environment. They are working in this platform that enables your experience creation for your customers. So you'll have sales and marketing refining perhaps the configurability, the sales configuration capabilities of your products. directly collaborating with engineering and manufacturing around the digital content creation and virtual manufacturing planning. Social collaboration, also new functionalities introduced in 15X. Here you can internally create your own social innovation network with communities designed for various purposes, where people with the same interests are sharing ideas, working a lot with rich media, taking early ideas on to something that becomes more concrete and can be managed in the more structured processes in Innovia. So here we have something called 3D Swim, and I'll try to cover that also in the later part of the presentation. Everything nowadays in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform is designed also for cloud deployment. So especially for perhaps small to medium-sized businesses with a need for a quick solution, might be for perhaps CAD data management for a department or similar to that. It's possible now to start using the out-of-the-box 3DEXPERIENCE platform in a cloud deployment from Dassault Systems in a public or private cloud, or also it's easy to set up these kind of environments so you can have your own little private cloud for them with someone taking care of the infrastructure and providing a real software as a service experience. And as part of 15X, a lot more functionality is available for the cloud options. Not everything is there yet, but that's on the roadmap. So eventually the environments, the capabilities that you can have in the cloud and on premises will be identical. One of the big changes in 15X is that now all the available apps, all the available functionality in the various brands in CATIA and Delmia and Innovia are packaged by role. So the intention here is to make it easy for a customer based on their needs per industry to say that I want to have support for 4 project managers, 10 team members, out of which 8 are product architects or product engineers, and then I have perhaps a sourcing engineer. That is how you define the set of functionality in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform that you want to give to your users. So a lot more intuitive in terms of thinking and understanding what kind of capabilities they will get. So I'll show you that as well. Just from an overall perspective, some of the key improvements in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Now, please keep in mind that this is the platform that is common for all the various brands from Dassault Systems, CATIA, Delmia, Simulia, Innovia, 3DVIA, Exalead, all of these. It's a unified user experience. Now it looks and behaves the same. Once you're familiar with working in Innovia, moving over and working with CATIA is no longer a big step, and vice versa, of course. You will feel comfortable in the user experience. You will understand how to get access to your various apps and how to get access to your profile information or move between domains. I mentioned briefly that there's been a packaging change. So in 14X, the concept of processes was introduced, and nowadays the functionality is packaged in roles instead. So I'm coming back to that with some more detailed examples. The browser, the the viewer functionality that is called 3D Play, that is available both in the web environment and in the native client environment, is also now available as apps on the Apple App Store. So a lot of functionality around the 3D viewing is available now for mobile access as well, which is really powerful. There's been a formalization of a concept of a casual platform user. So it's called a casual if-we user. So for up to 40 hours per month usage, you can, there's a quite attractive offering there. It's really half the price of the standard platform contributors or the basic license cost for this, making it possible to, in a rather attractive way, include potential suppliers and others that are not that frequent users of the platform, but still need access for mainly data consumption. I mentioned 3D dashboards, now available for local installation. There's another component also introduced called 3D Passport that is needed to keep the single sign-on capability for tying the various parts together, dashboards, CATIA, Enovia, the SWIM component, for instance. So now Dassault have introduced a single sign-on component called the 3D Passport for that. I mentioned the cloud capabilities. Now there are 62 more roles available compared to 14X. And I think one thing is important to highlight here. For an existing Enovia customer, say that you're using Enovia release 2013X from the V6 portfolio, you can, if you want, treat release 2015X as just another Enovia upgrade. It is fully modular, so you can start by upgrading your Enovia, and once that is done and perhaps deployed, you can choose to deploy other components of the platform, like the dashboards and SWIM. And once you do that, then you'll have to introduce also the 3D Passport to keep all these contexts in sync. So for an existing Enovia customer, it's another Enovia upgrade to get access to the Enovia functionality in 15X. So again, you can take this stepwise. A lot of new names and terms introduced in 15X. I mentioned the dashboard and SWIM. There's a concept called 3D space, which you can see. You can treat them as collaboration areas similar to the workspaces that were introduced with the old Team Central application. So really easy ways, intuitive ways of collaborating around data, be it objects or files or drawings, easy to add people, drag and drop for adding file content or object content, and easy definition of the access models. You're an author, or you're a contributor, or you're just a viewer perhaps of the information. And those are available across the platform. So you define your collaboration space when working from CATIA, and you define your space when setting context in Enovia, etc. I mentioned 3D Play, the viewer, the passport, the single sign-on component. 3D Search, that is the platform native version of Exalead, you can say. So the Exalead search applications are still available as a separate offering from Dassault Systems, and you will go for that when you want to, for instance, create a collection of searchable content that comes from many different systems. If you want to index ERP data and data coming from the web, and perhaps also your PLM data, then you will establish a separate standalone Exalead environment for getting access to that. The 3D search capability is embedded in the platform, but it is also limited to the platform. So if you are in SWIM and you use the search capability, it will be Exalead providing the search results, but it will be SWIM search results only that you will find. So this product was previously called the FTS, for instance, the embedded XLEAD functionality in the platform. 6W tags, that's the way search results are presented. I'll show you that as well. It's a rather intuitive way to refine the search results and really leverage the power of the search engine and in-memory filtering of the search results. 3D messaging, online chat, available. Previously there were integrations to third-party chat and instant messaging applications. Now there is an embedded online chat component. And of course the omnipresent 3D compass. That is really the main entrance to the platform. That is where you choose the app to work in, and I'll show you that also during the demonstration here later on. Just some quick words on the Enovia side, because most of the attendees here are existing Enovia customers. Some of the main things that have happened in Enovia, of course, adoption of the various previously known centrals to the 3D experience, so a new user interface pretty much everywhere. New apps, new functionalities for product planning and program management, more visual planning of the deliverables coming out from project activities. Also a new app for getting a feeling for when your activities will start to make you money, to earn money for you, by functionality around earned value management, really creating prognosis of the costs and revenues for the programs and activities you're doing, and visualizing that in a nice way. Lot more functionality around 3D merchandising and collections. A new product configurator. This is, I would guess, quite strong interest for quite many of you, since most of our existing customers are in one way or another looking at variant configuration, or having implemented, or in the process of implementing, or at least evaluating. So here it's a matter of two things really. It's a new and more intuitive user interface for the product configurator capabilities in the variant configuration world from Enovia, but it's also a brand new configurator with 3D capabilities. So while configuring, you can get simultaneous creation of 3D representation of the configured product. Really cool, and this builds on some research actually done by Dassault, where they have defined a rule engine capable of pre-compiling and then resolving the rules super quick. So this will be a very strong competitor actually to the established product and sales configurators out on the market. So we're really looking forward to the introduction of this, and to start to understand more the possibilities of further enhancing the product configuration capabilities in the platform. Around quality and compliance, management of conflict materials, conflict minerals and others, really additions to the materials compliance apps. Converter, import and export of IFC, industry foundation clauses, very commonly used in the architecture, engineering, construction side, and also for anything related to plants, and lots of interest in marine and offshore for that. New converters for AutoCAD, and also more apps on the cloud to support the mobile devices. Just a few words perhaps on mobile support here. The objective, and you will see that when we go to the app and take a closer look, is to mobile enable the web applications themselves by having a more touch-friendly user interface. There are also, of course, the offerings available from Technia to have a more streamlined and optimized mobile flavor of the PLM functionality. So by using the Technia mobile functionality in the TVC portfolio, you can really tailor your mobile applications for specific use cases. So those are also, of course, always available for you. When I'm on that note, your investment into the Technia Value components is safeguarded here, so they will most likely work flawlessly. Just to be really sure, there is a Technia product release in April 10th that officially introduces full support for the 15X release of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So stay tuned for more information about that also when we get closer to the release date. Quick words on the packaging structure. Previously in 14X there was something called processes. Now there's something called roles instead. What a user do, really. This is what you purchase. So you buy a role. You buy the product architect or the product designer or the project manager role, and then you will get access to a set of apps that are your well-known centrals or parts of the centrals, really the groups of functionalities that you need to perform your daily work. And all these are part of the, in the end, the industry solution experiences that really solve specific issues for a specific industry. So looking at a bit more details on the licensing here. In 13X, if you wanted to work with engineering bill of materials, you had a product from Dassault Systems called the Engineering Center product. In 14X, that became a process called Engineering BOM Management that also contained functionality for managing classifications and things like that related to the Engineering BOM Management. In 15X, the packaging is that the role product engineer, called PDE, that a customer would buy a license for, a named user license for a product engineer, contains the functionality needed to manage everything EBOM. Also classifications, and those are represented as apps in the user interface. Same for a project. Previously a program central license up to 13X, to and include 13X. A process called deliverables program management, DPM, in 14X. It's now a role called project manager. So a lot more intuitive to understand, and the apps needed to perform the work tasks for a project manager are all included in the role. Demo time. Let's see. I will see what you can see here. So logging in, it's the same login as you can see up here in the URL. I'm logging into the 3D Passport, which is the environment that makes it possible for me to have one login, one password, but for all the domains, the apps in the 3DEXPERIENCE portfolio. Here you see the 15X main user interface. Let me make this a bit bigger for you here. Starting from top left, you see the compass. Here is where I click to move between apps. So if I want to go directly to the variant management functionality, I will click that little icon and my products that are configurable in the variant management world here will appear. North are the social and collaborative apps, Enovia, Swim. West, you have the 3D creation kind of applications. If I now enable the role mechanical designer, these are the roles that I have assigned to me, my named user, Jan Törnqvist. If I click the mechanical designer, I get a lot of apps here for 3D modeling. Now these are really CATIA workbenches in V5 terms. So I don't have CATIA installed here, but if I had, I would go directly to part design in CATIA if I click this app. Here you also have, of course, possible Geovia, Biovia, SolidWorks apps as well, potentially. South, virtual and real. Here is where you can work with content and simulation apps for Simulia, Delmia, 3DVIA for visualization. And East, you will see the information intelligence. That's really the dashboards, the search intelligence provided by Excelid applications. Going back to the homepage, let's look a little on the new user interface. A lot more modern, simplistic, rather large icons to make it also touch-friendly in a tablet. Visualizations appearing in relevant places, making it easy for me to get access to my relevant information. Clicking here will bring up the 2 locked documents that I have as a user. There are 3 issues that are relevant for me. I get access by clicking. Some charts presented to make it available for me to make it possible for me to understand the data a bit more. These are these charts provided out of the box for the home page. If I go in and take a look at issues, there are other charts slicing and dicing the data, making it possible for me here to filter out by clicking. I only want to see my medium priority issues. Here they are. I can hide the panel if I don't want it there and then open it up by clicking here again. And out of those medium issues, show me the one that is in review state. So here it is. So quite quick to filter around. And you have these kind of charts also available for route information. If I say that I enable a project manager role, I go into the project management applications. We'll look at my new generation product development project. A lot more visualization on the project homepage than before to give me a single page feeling for how this project behaves. 3% is on time, 22% are late, and 2 are on the critical path. Not too good. And a simple visualization also of the Gantt chart here, and perhaps a burn down of the tasks and the planned work ahead until the end of the project. Also a more business-related view for projects here. I don't have a budget input here, but at least you see a couple of risks in the midsection of the risk chart, and the various assessments performed in the project. So here you can hover with the mouse over and get the direct input from the auditors of the project, what they did consider when making the review here 4th of March. So across the board in the platform, really leveraging the graphical capabilities of the web environment to make it easier to understand really the data you have in your 3DEXPERIENCE platform. If we take a quick look, we change the app into variant management. Now I can go here to search around in a potentially rather large heap of apps, or I can be quicker by adding shortcuts to my favorite apps. I'm a variant management guy, so I like to hang there. Let's move in there. Here we see a couple of products. Let's open up this basic Q product. The left-hand side menu here moves from being the My Desk menu for the app, the variant configuration app with various menu items, to being the tree category or the actual categories menu for the business object I'm standing on. So really conserving the screen real estate a bit more here to make it clear what you're working on, not to clutter the UI too much. Bit of a top panel introduction with some states, drag and droppable image areas. If we now go to product configurations, let's look at one of the product configurations I made before. Let's go in and edit the options. Here you see the new look of the product configurator in Enovia. Now, as I mentioned, there's also a new native app for configuring using pretty much the same user interface, but on the right-hand side you will also see the actual 3D model of the configured product. But here you can work more with images, make it more understandable what you're configuring, and get instant feedback on the completeness of the configuration you've made. It's only partially clear. Let's make it fully configured like that. Press done. So a lot more intuition when working with that, more intuitive experience. Speaking about the native applications, let's search for something. Now I switched over into a native app that I have installed as a non-CAD user. Now this can be used for more powerful viewing capabilities. I can search here, give me a product called Quad. Here I see the search results. Let's explore this one. That means open it up really in the 3D plate. So here we are. Now we can take a closer look at this, see what it is. We can open it up even more, expand everywhere, expand all. And here I have, as a non-CAD user, a 3D viewing capability. In the same familiar user interface, I know how to search, I know how to get access to my profile information. I can directly from here change over to relevant Enovia apps again. So you see it's the same kind of user interface experience, even though I'm now in the 3D world. And by the way, this is exactly how the new CATIA Release 15x user interface looks like, with an action menu that brings you context-relevant actions available here directly. Moving back to Enovia, or the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, I should say, in the web environment. Searching here is available directly here in this Google-like little search bar. So I can search here for, let's say that I search for Technia. My search results, a bunch of documents will be presented here. These documents do not have Technia in the metadata. It's full text search also for the content, so the actual files are indexed. Here on the left-hand side, I see this 6W tagging, a possibility for me to filter my search results. So here I can say, what folder do these appear in? I only want to see specification type of things. Now it filtered out and showed me one document instead. If we close this search screen, we go back to another domain. Let's look at, for instance, my requirements. Whenever I have a long list of information available in the user interface, I can always enable these 6W tags to make it possible to filter out the search content, or the content presented, I should say, in a relevant way. So here I can directly go into maturity filter on the what here and say that only show me the released things, and I want to see the everything that is a functional requirement. So here we see the functional and released items. I also actually want to see items that are in proposed state, but no longer the release state. So here you can see you can interactively filter out in long lists, and it's an in-memory filtering that is extremely quick. So it doesn't hit the database again, it's just a filtering of the already retrieved search results in this case. If I go back in, it remembers the filters I have in this current tab, and I can clear those tags by just removing that. All right. Moving over to dashboards. The dashboards introduced now in 15X available for on-site installation, for what Dassault Systems call on-premises installations. This is the product that is also called NetVibes, and NetVibes in the more in a cloud-based and more feature-rich version is available still as a separate product. But as a platform user, you have access to a set of widgets, as they're called, so you can create your dashboard on your own with that. So here you can duplicate, you can delete, you can work with things here, you can open up, create a new dashboard, populate it with content coming from, for instance, some Innovia apps. Let's remove that one. You can add new widgets. If I open up my compass here and scroll down a bit, you can see that some of the icons here have a little icon in the right-hand corner. So clicking on them will add them to the dashboard like that. Or you can also drag and drop. If I want to have my change actions available, I can put them here in my dashboard. So now they're here. And lots of different ways to present the data. Detailed like this, or it's also possible to show as charts, or in a channel like the layout here of the feed. So there are a set of general widgets available. Calculator, feed reader, metrics reader that can read data and generate charts from JSON data or CSV data. You can add your own links to web resources that you'd like to have close by. You can include your own content quite easily as well in these dashboards. So for instance, relevant Technia value components will very soon start to appear also in widget shapes. So you can reuse your TDC configurations in your 3D dashboards. Lot of possibilities for you to go ahead and create, let your users start to create dashboards, populate them with relevant content from Enovia, from CATIA, include the 3D Play, viewers, all that. Also, just very quickly, I wanted to show you some new administrative functionalities for managing the platform. We have now a new UI in the web environment to manage users, add users, manage your assigned licenses. So here I can go into my 3D Master Designer. I have 2% of my available licenses allocated to these three guys. I have 140 in total. If I open up this Jan Turnqvist, he appears in many different ways here. I can see all the licenses that that user has, and I can remove access and all that. It's also possible for your users, when they see that, we have bought the Compliance Manager license. I think that's an interesting thing. I want that. Please give me that license. So you can request that kind of license. Now you have a new request for a Compliance Manager license from the user Jan Turnqvist. So it's easy to centrally manage the licenses available for the entire company. All right, time is running out. I think we'll go back to the presentation mode. Just to wrap this up, what I didn't show you now was the 3D Swim functionality. I mentioned it briefly. This is about social collaboration. Think of it as Facebook groups for your company, where you also, of course, can include your customers to give the customers a feeling for the experience you're about to provide them. There is a structured way to handle product development ideas, refine them in Swim using the creative capabilities, and then when the idea is mature enough, you can transfer it into, for instance, the requirement management capabilities in Enovia. So we'll be back with more information about this and also more demonstrations on how you actually can leverage the Swim capacity that you now have available for your company. There's lots of information coming out from Dassault Systems and from Technia about the 15X release and the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, of course, with the various applications, the brands and the apps, and the industry solution experiences. So here are the two main links to focus on: 3ds.com for Dassault Systems news and technia.com/events for everything webinar and the customer advisory boards and all these events where we'll continuously inform you. And please, please hook up with us, send us emails, make sure you're friends with us on LinkedIn, that you're following us on Twitter. Challenge us, give us your ideas on how you want the 3DEXPERIENCE platform information and 15X presented. We are happy to make this a lot more tailored so that you can really understand how you can benefit from the goodies that have been introduced and made available for you. Good. So that was the planned presentation content. Let's see if we have some questions that have been asked. Let's start from the top. What is the dial-in number? I hope that was made available in the presentation. The SolidWorks integration with 3DEXPERIENCE. Are there new capabilities compared to earlier versions and most improved capabilities? The SolidWorks integration is available with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform as well. I will have to come back to you on the specifics around the new capabilities. We will save these questions and we can contact you, Joachim, afterwards about that. But the integration is available for sure. Browsers available, browsers supported in 15X, IE 10, IE 11, and also Firefox for various purposes. I can give you afterwards more details around this, but everything is available, so please send an email to us if you want to have the exact supported configurations. Next question, can 6W tags be configured for additional attributes, object types, and relationships added by customer? Yes, absolutely. Configuring the tags and configuring the way the index engine behaves is done in the same way in 15 and 14X as it was in 13X when you had the XLEAD full text search server installed. So it's a simple XML file configuration that you perform. Will the presentation or webinar be available hereafter? Yes, absolutely. I think you will have to register potentially on the website to get access to them, but they will be there. Technia has a principle, and that is that after some time we always make all our content that we present publicly like this available also on YouTube. So you will be able to find a lot of the webinars, most of them on YouTube after 6 months perhaps, and up until then they are available for people who are willing to submit their email address to us. So that will be available as of tomorrow most likely. 2015X, possible to view also CATIA V5 parts on 3D Play. It depends a little on what CATIA V5 version you're using. So we'll have to get back to you with a more detailed answer on that actually. Schema tool support for 15X, that will officially happen in April 10 at the latest, but it is actually now possible to get access to Schema tool. That's a Technia tool that supports the 15X. Something more about the licensing model. The licensing model introduced with 15X is roles, as I mentioned, compared to processes in 14X and products in the previous releases. There will be migration paths and conversion packages available from Dassault, of course, for that. So an existing customer, for them, the 3DEXPERIENCE migration will be about getting new licenses, really. And of course, then mapping how the existing portfolio will be transformed into the new 15X roles. So Tesfaye will, I appreciate a discussion with you about this afterwards and to understand more about your 15X migration plans as well. Will there be new functionality in the TVCs released April 10? Yes, for sure. There will be quite a lot of new functionality. Also, of course, one of the main focuses is to make sure that your TVCs blends in pretty much seamlessly with the 15X environment. We don't want your users to feel that they're working in two separate worlds when you have used the TVCs to efficiently configure the environment. So the TVC screens will feel the same way as the rest of the 15X environment they live in. But lots of new functionality as well, not related to that, of course. So stay tuned for more webinars at the release date or a couple of days after. Will it be possible to exchange data between V5 and 15X? If you're thinking about the V5 metadata environments like the VPLM V5, the answer is yes. There are available offerings from Dassault to to connect various PLM, PDM environments with each other, like the XPDM gateway functionality. And that also has capabilities for integrating a V5 VPM or LCA environment with the 15x 3DEXPERIENCE platform. If you're thinking about CATIA V5 data, I mentioned before there are versions available of CATIA V5 that are where it's easy to integrate with the and have the 3DEXPERIENCE platform 15x manage the CATIA data. There are also some additional CATIA V5 features coming, I think, previewed this summer, where you will have a more native integration between CATIA V5 and the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, similar to what you have in CATIA V6. So lots of possibilities. Any changes regarding IT server infrastructure? Yes, if you are an existing Enovia user and you upgrade to 15x, there are no additional mandatory server components. If you want also to use the 3D dashboard components, then you'll have to introduce also the 3D passport single sign-on infrastructure. So there is a separate server dedicated for the 3D dashboard that can very well be a virtual server, and also one for the 3D passport. For SWIM, you actually need two servers, one for the actual SWIM foundation and one for media conversion. It's a lot about having access to rich media there, movies and stuff, and that is typically put on a separate server. So a couple of different servers will be added if you want to extend your 3D experience into also other parts of the platform. The Exalead search engine, of course, requires a server of its own as well. No big things. Everything is well documented and installed in the same way as the Enovia components in the 3D space environment, as it's now called. Okay, those were the questions. Thank you very much all for attending, and really hope to hear from you soon on more questions about how 15x can help you, and send us mails, hook up with us, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything like that. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed the webinar. Bye-bye.